We are here at the iStock 2011 in Milan, and my name is Amos Struck. I'm from StockPhoto Press. I run several German magazines and also some English ones. And the Microstock Expo is running on the 5th and 6th of November in Berlin. And I'm here with Kelly Thompson. Thank you that we can take a small interview with you.
Thank you.
I definitely have some questions for you. It's like you have a new role.
I do.
The new role, you may just describe it a little bit.
So I'm now Senior Vice President of Product Development for iStock and Getty.
Okay.
So.
And you're moving?
I moved 2 weeks ago to New York, but I've only actually been there for 3 days because I moved, put my stuff away, and left to come here. So.
Okay, so what's a huge success here on the iStock? I think, Milan is a great city, but what's so special in Milan, and what's so special for the photographers in the community?
Well, let me tell you, the people are sure pretty. I mean, the city's been really exciting, and last week we overlapped a few days with Fashion Week, so it was exciting to go and see. We stuck into a few of the events, and it was really interesting. We also got to send a couple of the photographers to actually shoot some of the events, so I think that was pretty exciting for them. But we've scouted some really, really great locations here. You would never know. We know when you're driving down the street in Milan that sort of behind that old facade there's these stunning studios. I mean, this is an amazing studio that we're in today. I mean, it's gargantuan. They have like probably 10 or 12 rooms to choose from to shoot in, so it makes for really good, really different looking sets of images. There's even enough room to do really great video shots in here too, so they've been doing a lot of that today as well.
Great, and some interviews too. So I think it's a 10-bed studio. If you want to shoot in Milan, you just want to try it. So as you have the new role in Getty, what do you have to do with the iStockphoto anymore? Is there any overlaps?
Yeah. So I'm still in charge of the products on iStock and ThinkStock, Photos.com and Clipart.com. So we kind of changed the way things were organized a bit. It's not a change in direction or anything like that. We just sort of shifted how things were set up. We sell stock on all these sites, so we're doing the same thing on every site, right? They have a little bit different technology back ends sometimes, so things work a little bit differently, but in the end we're solving the same problems. So we're just trying to align that a little bit better. If we're doing something on iStock that's really awesome, we want to get it to the rest of the site. So someone might as well be looking after all of those sites this way. So that's really what it's about.
So it's a little bit more about integration between the different sites also, and
it's not really about integration so much, because iStock runs on a completely different technology platform than anything else at Getty. So there's no easy magic way just to integrate them and make them work. Not without years and years of work to get it done. But so things are kind of moving along. We after the acquisition at Jupiter, we hadn't done a whole lot with Photos.com or Clipart.com, and they're great domain names. So that's sort of what we're looking at doing in the next little while.
Okay. So you have in your own business or in your own job, you have overlaps with iStockphoto because you're managing them a little bit then.
Yep. I'll still be up in Calgary quite often. So.
Okay. So So some photographers are a little bit frustrated about the royalty cuts you had recently. I know you get these questions really often, and so what's the feeling in the community? I know that some photographers are coming to iStock and trying to get exclusive because they get higher cuts from the royalties, and some are leaving because of that, because the royalties on some other agencies seems to be better than iStock now. So what's your opinion on that?
So for us, we always say the same thing. We have to be competitive with the market, but in the end, the royalties don't matter as much as the total amount of money we can make for our photographers. And I think we're doing, a better job than anyone else with the total amount we pay out in royalties. far exceeds our competitors, far. So
the people are just selling more on your sites.
yeah, more at maybe a better price point than some of the other sites. So yeah, makes a big difference.
Okay, so I know some photographers. They have quite a good sales and weather collection, and they said that they have quite nice money royalties coming from the weather. Is it going up or?
Yeah, I mean, the quality of the Veta collection, has really, really jumped, and it's interesting to talk to customers because they know and understand it now, and some of them are really specifically looking for that much more art-directed, much more high-end look, and I think customers understand that it is worth more. It's more expensive to shoot. It's much more towards some of the higher-end stuff that, that Getty's doing, which is sort of where we're taking the inspiration from, right? At the high end, Getty's rights managed collections are just stupendously good, right? And that's sort of what all the photographers, after working years and years and years to kind of hone their craft, that's where they want to get to. So we want to give them the platform so that they can.
So if I check for photos on iStockphoto, I usually buy some photos for my websites and all this stuff. Pay for it, of course. You get the royalties from it. I just recognize that if I want to pick a photo which I like, in about 100%, it's a better collection because it looks much better than the other ones. Honestly, it looks more, whatever. It's a little more eye-appealing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully that's the case, right? That should be like the really great stuff should cost a little bit more. We do have customers that's frustrating for, and that's why we added the price filter, I guess 4 or 5 months ago now, or whenever it was. But yeah, I mean, if there's images, or if you have to select something that fits within your budget, then put down and make sure you don't even see those ones, and then it's not a problem.
I know I use a price filter too. So they're really good. If you buy photos, you just use the price filter and make sure it fits in your budget. There's a new woman on top, I would say. For all of us, it sounds like she's doing an absolutely new job. It's Rebecca Rockefeller.
Yeah.
Most of the people don't know her, so you may just want to introduce what's her main job. What's she doing?
So sure. So Rebecca's been with the company for years and years and years and years. I think like eight or 9 years at this point. She actually is a senior vice president of e-commerce across the company. So she's been doing an awesome job there for a long time. She's based in Seattle. So with me moving to New York, she's coming up. She's keeping her the job she does all the time, but she's also doing, she's becoming general manager at iStock to kind of run the office there in Calgary. So.
Okay, so she's more about is she more in running the business, or going, checking plans for the future of iStock, or what's her usual day business?
Day business. Well, a lot of it still doing the e-commerce side of things for everywhere, but Rebecca is a project manager at heart, so she's amazing at making sure all the moving pieces are all moving in the right directions at the right time. So I mean, that's really about what running a company is. So that that's kind of her focus. There's lots of us who work on the actual strategic plans for iStock. Those are well laid out for the foreseeable future. Anyway, we have a great group of people helping define those, and now we're just executing against them. So.
Okay, because I had the feeling in the community, some people, they thought, if you're going out of these job at iStock, iStock going a little bit wrong direction, or maybe go in the wrong direction in the future. Will this happen? Because you told before that you have your hands on iStock and you have hands on all the other one, like ThinkStock and Photos. Are you really in the day biz in iStock anymore then?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, iStock is the biggest, one of the biggest parts of Getty. So it's one of the things we still concentrate on the most, right? So, most of my attention is there. That being said, iStock runs like a well-oiled machine, right? Things are pretty good there. So for the next little while, I'll kind of focus a little bit more on Photos.com and clip art as we get those sites where we need to be. But obviously, iStock is huge in comparison to those other sites. So from a revenue standpoint, iStock's obviously the most important. But yeah, it's maybe I'll explain a little bit. One of the things we've been doing for the past year that we haven't really talked about, and people always kind of wonder what's going on, but iStock has a really wicked ingestion process. It works really well. So we took that and we kind of took Getty's ingestion process, which had some really good features, and it was the first huge development effort across both Getty and iStock, and we created a new kind of ingestion system based on the iStock one. But what we're doing is we want all the images coming through there, so the Getty photographers will be using the same ingestion system. And so what we can do is, it's all one system, it's streamlined. The Getty photographers are going up to, Getty editors, but as the images come through, what we're hoping to be able to do is just accept far more images than we have in the past. So maybe really great stuff can automatically go up to the Getty site. If something's maybe not good enough for the iStock site, we want to still be able to accept those images, because when we do, photographers get better, by doing that, right? So, maybe they'll go to photos.com or something like that, where they sell at a much lower price point, but it's still selling them. So
that's really interesting. I didn't know that. Maybe some photographers are really love to hear that, because I tried. I'm selling on iStock. Usually one photo per month or so, and I know that a lot of photographers, they don't get their images accepted, and they're really depressed about it, because they are shooting and they're trying to get the better picture, and they're uploading it again, and it get rejected. And so it sounds really good that they may, but they can sell it.
Yeah. I mean, it's if you look at all the people who are here, most of them will admit that when they started, they were terrible photographers, right? Like, most of the people a lot of them here were designers or something. I mean, there's a few start off as photographers, but as they practice and have that feedback loop where someone actually says to you, no, it's not good enough, but here's why, here's what to fix, you go and try it again, you become a spectacularly good photographer, right? If you look back through portfolios of our top photographers, it's stunning to see the progression. So hopefully we can make that happen for more people, because you're right, it's tougher now with millions and millions and millions of images. You're up against a lot of competition. So, and we're trying really hard at iStock. We decided years ago we weren't going to play the numbers game. That it was a really good kind of guiding by Jonathan. I was talking about how at the time we were taking in all these images, and he's like, whoa, slow down, right? You have more images than people will, like, there'll be some images in your collection people will never see again.
Yeah.
As long as
I know, I've seen the interview, he said that. That's really good, because this is my next question is on that. It's like, what do you do to make sure that the customer, I know, because I'm a customer of iStock too, see as most images as they can, because you have so many millions of them.
So it can be tough. First of all, we have a whole team that just focuses on search, and they're doing some really cool things in the background. It's really subtle, but we're actually, if you're in Germany, you're getting slightly different search results than somewhere else in the world, right? It's more hopefully more focused on what you're looking for. We even try to do a little bit of shuffling depending on what type of customer we think you are. We can tell what you bought in the past and maybe give you a little bit better results that way. We also have a team that does interface work. So we do lots of experimental things. What would happen if we did this or displayed it like this? Getty has a UX usability lab in Seattle. So every once in a while, all the iStock UX guys will head down to meet with them, and we'll pull people in off the street just randomly, all the way up to professional, power users, and just see how they're interacting with the site, seeing what they're totally missing. And there can be funny little things. When we put the price filter up at first, it was right there. It's this, the second thing, and people just didn't see it, even though it was right there. So things like that are interesting. But we get to work and iterate all those things. So.
Okay, perfect. So last question on ThinkStock. I think as I'm just on the German market and watching the German market, I think ThinkStock is quite running well in Germany at the moment. So from my feeling, from my perspective, but a lot of photographers they check, they say, it's only the old pictures in there, they say. It's only the old stuff you bought from other libraries. So is there any plans, because you told about the new system, is there any plans to get a lot more fresh and new content in there, or is it just a garbing plate?
No. I mean, the site didn't exist, a year and a half ago, right? So you start with the images you have, right? And we needed to build the collection, so that's definitely how we did it. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of the reason we built this new ingestion system was actually to get great images into that collection as well, because it has far exceeded our expectations. Yeah, it's had a spectacular year.
I know, because I saw some of the sales there, and I think from the usability for Germans, there's a different usability for Germans. I don't know if you know that, in my feeling, my perspective, because I monitor all the other agencies and I see which are working well in German and which are not working that well. And ThinkStock is perfect for Germans. It looks German, by the way. So it's really accurate. It's like BMW or something. It's really accurate and exact. So, is there any way? One of my last questions, by the way. Is there any way that a photographer came in to your new injection system and you check them and you check his pictures and he make it upgraded to Getty without being in any other agency anymore?
Yeah, that's one of the things. We want to be able to catch those great images that come through and get them to the right place, because it's in our best interest to optimize the revenue we're making from each of those photos too. So if it's a rights managed quality shot, then we'll get it there.
Okay, so the last one, Flickr. A lot of people say, now Getty is grabbing the best images from Flickr and selling them for high margin. I know that it's not true, but anyway, I see great pictures on Flickr. Is there, are you really using a lot of that photography from Flickr to sell it, or is it just randomly getting a request from a customer?
So there's a few things. We do get requests from customers, and then we facilitate the deal if that happens. But we also have, I think there's 200 or 300 editors. They don't actually work for Getty, but they're kind of like our inspectors. So they're kind of giving them, I don't know, or I guess some kind of like reward when they find the pictures. But they comb through Flickr looking for really good shots, and then we approach the photographer and say, hey, can we represent your images? So that does happen quite a bit, and there's some really great stuff on there. Yeah. It's just because of the way it's set up, there's a lot of not great stuff, right? Like it's just stuff. I know. So it's like looking for a needle in a haystack sometimes. But it's there's some great shots and they sell well. So a lot of times people are looking for kind of that more raw, kind of look. So those pictures are the right choice. They just have to make sure they get them cleared first.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they pay for it, and the rights are okay, and the model release is okay. And
model release is a big one on Flickr because people usually don't have it, so we have to go back and work through that. So.
Wow. But that's why the price is higher then, of course. Yeah, it's a Getty sales then, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So it's rights managed then, most cases?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, so your absolutely last recommendation for photographers in Germany. I know that you have you have some of them. Yeah. Some of them are really selling well in iStock. Some of them are here. We'll meet them later, hopefully. So what's your recommendation? Last one. I know I have asked Yuri, I have asked Andres are, asking them, is there any way to be another Yuri Arkos, for example, or is there any way you can now go into the business and start with selling Microsoft? What do you think?
Well, first of all, in most countries, I would tell people shoot local content, right? People tend to generate or like to generate content that they think is going to sell everywhere. We have a lot of that stuff. So if you're somewhere that no one else is, use that to your advantage, right? Because people do make random requests for, a church in, somewhere in Germany or something like that. And it's important we have things like that, which I think sometimes the collection may not have. The great thing about Yuri is he has a style, right? So he's sort of gotten behind that style, and I mean, you see it, you know who it is.
I cannot see it anymore. It's like on every advertisement in Germany, it's Yuri's pictures. I'm sorry, Yuri, I cannot see your pictures anymore. I don't buy them anymore. And it's like my wife can recognize on a supermarket advertisement, that's Yuri's girlfriend there. I like his picture style, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So, but use that as a good example, right? If you can set a style that works for you and you can hone it, and obviously that resonates with the market, you'll do well.
Absolutely, and if you have such a nice girlfriend than Yuri has and all the other models, anyway, it's like we'll see some nice Italian models here, I think.
You are right.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for the interview. We may just see some pictures later from the event here, and have a nice trip back home to New York now. And nice job on Getty then.
Thank you very much.